Good afternoon, I'm Josh Duncan, and these are some of the top headlines out of the KelownaNow newsroom today. The Sean Feucht saga continues, and the latest development is that the Christian singer will perform in the Kelowna area this weekend. After the city of West Kelowna announced Wednesday that his previously scheduled show at the Memorial Park Amphitheatre was cancelled, Feucht revealed today that he would instead be playing on private property in the Joe Rich area. Speaking with KelownaNow yesterday, Advocacy Canada's Wilbur Turner said there was no plans to protest this new show. The LGBTQ group had previously planned a protest for the West Kelowna venue, but Turner said the opposition to that show was that it was on public land. He says there's no point in protesting a private location, and what people do on their private property is a different matter than on public property. He still doesn't like to see the event take place and has significant issues with Feucht's messaging, saying the singer has led protests against the queer community and called its members, as well as allies, demonic and perverted. You can read more about all of that and watch the full interview with Wilbur Turner at KelownaNow.com. An erratic driver led police on what seemed to be a chase through the pedestrian-only zone on Bernard Avenue earlier this week, but the RCMP says there's no indication the man intended to deliberately cause harm to the public. Police responded to the incident around 8 p.m. Wednesday after learning about a hit-and-run vehicle incident downtown. Additional calls then came in about the vehicle being driven erratically around the downtown core. When officers arrived, they saw the black SUV performing dangerous maneuvers, the police said, in several intersections before entering the Meet Me on Bernard pedestrian zone. Eventually, the SUV came to a rest after colliding with a parked vehicle, and the driver was taken into custody. Although police have not found evidence that the man was acting maliciously, they continue to investigate the incident. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The BC SPCA is cautiously optimistic that one of 3 newborn kittens found in a Kelowna scrapyard last week will get healthy. BC SPCA Kelowna manager Shannon Pye says the kittens were barely a day old when discovered in various locations throughout the yard last Thursday. They were rushed to an animal hospital where unfortunately one of the kittens was in such bad shape it had to be humanely euthanized. The other 2 kept in an incubator overnight, but one was euthanized the next day as their condition continued to deteriorate. The 3rd kitten, now in the hands of what the BC SPCA calls an amazing foster. That foster is bottle feeding him every 2 hours and carefully monitoring for weight and temperature. Pye says the kitten has a fighting spirit, and the foster reports that he's eating well and gaining weight. A search was done at the scrapyard in an effort to find the kitten's mom, but that was unsuccessful, unfortunately. The BC SPCA will cover the costs of these animals' emergency care, but the public encouraged to donate, if able, to assist the nonprofit with medical emergencies like this one. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will drop all retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. that apply to products covered by the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement. He said the decision to match the U.S. on tariffs will take effect September 1st. That means import taxes will stay in place on aluminum, steel, and auto products from the U.S., but be removed from products compliant with CUSMA. The decision came a day after Carney's office said the Prime Minister had a productive conversation with President Donald Trump over the phone. Asked today whether Trump said this move would kickstart negotiations, Carney replied simply with yes. Carney also was asked by a reporter today if he'd adopted an elbows-down approach to Trump, and the Prime Minister responded with a hockey analogy, essentially saying there's a time and place for various moves and responses when it comes to issues like these. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, however, fresh off his by-election win in Alberta earlier this week, said Carney failed in his job of negotiating a deal with the Americans. NHL pros will take over Prospera Place this weekend. A few big leaguers are in town preparing for the upcoming season with Kelowna High Performance, and they'll face off against each other in an exciting charity match on Saturday. The Kelowna Hockey Fest activities will kick off with a street festival outside the rink at 1 p.m. and the game will begin inside at 5. You can expect to see NHL stars like Tyler Myers, Logan Stankoven, Shea Theodore, Caden Korzak, former Rocket there, and others on the ice. Shea Weber will be behind the bench, as will the NHL's first ever female coach, Jessica Campbell, an assistant coach with the Seattle Kraken. Last year's event raised over $20,000 for the YMCA of Southern Interior BC. Organizers hoping to smash that total with the 2025 edition. Anyone who wants to take in the action at Prospera Place on Saturday can still grab a seat through Select Your Tickets. The pregame festivities outside completely free to attend. All right, a quick look at the forecast. It's beautiful out there. We're in the upper 20s right now. Should hit 30 before the afternoon is over. The weekend forecast calling for more blue skies and sunshine. Highs of 33 tomorrow, 34 on Sunday. Then 35 to start the week, Monday, Tuesday, and extended heat beyond that. So we're in for a stretch of hot summer weather to finish up August. That is all for me today and this week, but you can read up on all these stories and plenty more over at KelownaNow.com. Enjoy your hot, sunny weekend, Kelowna. I'll be back in this chair on Monday for a look at some early week headlines. We'll see you then.
Report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government.